plans. As more and more of our communities lock down, you may be in more trouble with the notion of self-isolation. And if so, no better person to turn to for advice than our next person in this feature. He may be the world's isolation expert after a 20-year training and 5-month stretch of self-isolation as commander on board the International Space Station. Take a look.
Station Mir, 18 years ago, I brought a guitar up to Mir and played and sang guitar on board Space Station Mir. And so it was a real delight to have a guitar again now in orbit for the full 5 months on board the International Space Station.
Hi, I'm Chris Hadfield. I've spent a little time self-isolating on board a spaceship. How are you doing with self-isolation? You know, it's an extremely dangerous environment up on board the space station, and yet we find a way to thrive and be productive that far away from our normal life. But once you understand the risk and your mission, your sense of purpose, and your obligations, then take action. Start doing things. They don't have to be the things that you always did before. Take care of family, start a new project, learn to play guitar, study another language, read a book, write, create. So take care of yourself. Take care of your family. Take care of your friends. Take care of your spaceship.
I've been in isolation many times. I lived at the bottom of the ocean for a while on a little habitat, and I've lived in space 3 times. But my longest time away was commanding and living aboard the International Space Station. I was in space for about 5 months. I'm watching how this pandemic is influencing the group dynamic and how people are feeling. And I feel, as one of many people with a public voice, that it's important then to try and recognize that and help people recognize it also. Try and give people some tools to deal with it. To be isolated for a long time can be sort of frightening because you don't know what to expect. And whenever I'm frightened, I try and really dig into the actual risks, the actual dangers, become expert on the thing that is scaring me. And that helps me deal with my natural fear. And eventually, you are so well prepared, you've understood it so clearly, that your fear diminishes to almost nothing. In your little spaceship, your individual actions are magnified because you're a more significant part of the population. So recognizing that and seeing it and being much more cognizant of your own influence and your own impact is a key part of group psychological health. Deliberately go out of your way to do things that improve the chances of the whole crew not only succeeding, but feeling better psychologically and physically. Ease each other's burden. And then maybe the last part is be a little more self-analytical. If you notice that every other person in your expedition is behaving like a jerk, if they're all behaving like jerks, then it's probably you that's the jerk. We also train very extensively for it. We do Arctic survival and desert survival, and we live in a habitat under the ocean, and we spend hours in very confined quarters operating complicated equipment. And we work with psychiatrists and psychologists so that we both encourage and train for good behaviors that will allow a small group of people to thrive. So your heart gets smaller and your bones degrade and your muscles waste away. So we have to exercise deliberately and hard in order to be healthy when we get back to Earth at the end of a 6-month isolation. So we have some equipment on board, but it's pretty basic stuff. We have a bicycle, a stationary bicycle with no seat, because you don't need a seat without gravity. And we have a treadmill with big elastics that hold us down so we don't float away. And we have a resistive exercise machine. But anybody, anywhere, because we have gravity, you can always lift weights. And your body is a pretty good weight. You don't have to go to a gym to stay in shape. Gyms are more social than they are anything. in any small confined space, just find a bunch of clever ways to lift your own weight. Do push-ups, do sit-ups, do jumping jacks.
And that's the news for tonight. Join us online and here again tomorrow evening. From all of us here at Eagle News, thank you. We'll see you soon. I'm Alma Angeles, and we live in interesting times.